We're back in lockdown, or in Manila, what's known as ECQ. So this is now season 2, episode 1, 2, maybe. Okay. Anyways, we've been here before. We're back in lockdown. So how do we manage? How do we keep healthy? How do we keep fit? Since this is a fitness channel, we are going to tackle that. After all, it pays to keep fit during this pandemic. My name is Jerdan Conde. I've been in the fitness industry for the last 15, 16 years. In this channel, we talk about health, fitness, wellness, and living your best life as a Tito or a Tita, even if you're not yet a Tito and Tita. We're back in lockdown, all too familiar. Gyms are closed. Barbershop is closed. You can't even eat out anymore. And cases are rising. They've been up for the last couple of weeks or so by now. And we don't know if this ECQ will be extended a little bit more. And so it's very important to stay fit and healthy during this lockdown. Now, number 1 tip for staying healthy during this lockdown is to work out. Obviously, this is a fitness channel. By now, you should know that working out does have a lot of benefits. And for you who's watching this, you probably know that working out does have a lot of benefits for your health, your immune system, and the like. Now, I prefer strength training because there are a lot of health benefits to strength training as compared to purely something like Zumba, whatever. I'm not hating, I'm just saying that there's not that much of a benefit to that anyway. Even if you live in a small space like a condo, you can do by purchasing a pair of dumbbells, maybe 1 pair of light dumbbells and 1 pair of slightly heavier dumbbells, a yoga mat, maybe a suspension trainer or a pull-up bar that you can attach to your doorway, and a jump rope. If your ceiling's not high enough, you can still do some conditioning stuff like, maybe some burpees and the like. But anyway, it's very imperative that you work out during lockdown season and stay healthy, stay fit, maybe 3 times a week. That should be okay, but 45 minutes per workout, that will definitely do you a lot of good. And anyways, you all have 45 minutes. Don't kid me. Updated na updated ka sa K-drama. Okay? Number 2, eat healthy, nutrient-dense whole foods mostly. Whole unprocessed foods, a lot of vegetables, a lot of good meats, and a lot of fruits that are very nutritious and good for your body. The research is lately this article. Okay. This article came out about kimchi helping you have a lot milder symptoms if you do catch COVID. So if you do catch COVID, kimchi will help you have milder symptoms. That's what the research says. Apparently, because of some bioactive compounds in the kimchi. And we do know that kimchi is a probiotic and a prebiotic because of the fiber in it. And that these probiotics, or the good bacteria found in your gut, are actually a very, very important line of defense. Now, a lot of people try to push wearing masks to be safe. And yes, that is true. You have to wear a mask to be safe, especially when you're outside and in the company of other people. If you're doing your groceries or buying food or whatnot, make sure to wear your mask. But what a lot of people are not talking about is to keep the inside healthy, because that is your first and last line of defense. Think of the mask as like a bit of a necessity. It's like a seatbelt. Think of it as that. Now, but if the car is not running correctly, that's your body, the seatbelt is actually kind of pointless. So make sure that your body is in a healthy state, and you can do this by eating mostly whole, unprocessed, and nutrient-dense foods. Now, I get it, you can have a little bit of a treat every now and then. That's fine, make sure that it's a very small part of your diet. Now, here's the thing. We've been through this before. You don't need to buy all the sushi bake. Hindi mo na kailangan bilhin ng lahat ng Lola Nena's donuts. Hindi mo na kailangan bumili ng lahat ng ano pa ba mga nauso last year na treats? Lahat ng sourdough donuts, okay, or cookies. Hindi mo na kailangan kainin yan, okay? Alam na natin na ang nangyayari pag kinain mo lahat yan is, well, you get quarantine weight gain, and that's not a good thing, obviously. So, make sure to eat a healthy diet. Going back, about kimchi, you can also get the benefits of kimchi from other fermented foods like sauerkraut or even achara. So, pwede kang bumili at kumain yan kasi mga fermented foods na yan, meron talaga silang malaking tulong sa iyong kalusugan. Number 3. Ito, important to. Alam ko bawal tayong lumabas, huwag kang tumambay sa labas or whatnot. But you do need to get some sun. So magpa-araw ka. Make sure magpapa-araw ka araw-araw, or at least kahit mga 3 to 4 times a week magpa-araw ka. 20 to 30 minutes per day, okay na yun. Okay, not too much, not too long, pero ideally, medyo mataas yung araw. That would be the best time. Getting some sun exposure under UVB. Remember, not too much that it will cause skin damage. Okay, not too much, it's about 20 minutes. Not too much for the dermatologists who may be watching this. Okay, there are a lot of immune boosting benefits to getting some sun. That's why it's very important, if you're not getting enough sun, to take vitamin D3 supplements. You may want to consider that. Now remember, this isn't medical advice. This is coming from the side of a fitness coach. And, generally speaking, we are fitter than most people. Now, if you're watching this channel, if you're familiar with CrossFit, we do know that even if you are fit, you can get hit by the disease. So the fittest man on earth, the reigning fittest man on earth, CrossFit Games champion Matt Fraser actually got COVID, as he mentioned in the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. But here's the thing, when he did get COVID, the symptoms were so mild that he did not even know he was sick until he realized wala na siyang panlasa or pang-amoy. So he lost his sense of smell and his sense of taste, and that's how he knew he had COVID. Of course, he got tested after that and came out positive, but like a day after losing his sense of taste and smell, he was already working out. So we do know that the fitter you are, most likely, not all, generally speaking, you'll probably, if you do get hit by the disease, you'll probably get a bit of some milder symptoms, unless you have some comorbidities. Number 4, a lot of people don't mention this when they talk about fitness, but it's very important to get the right amount of sleep and the right quality of sleep. That's about at least 7 hours for most people. Now, since we are at home, try to turn down the lights, once it gets dark. So don't have the lights that are too bright, because that can interfere with your melatonin production and baka ma-delay yung pagkaantok mo pagka hindi mo masyadong dinilaman yung ilaw, lalo na pag full blast yung mga ilaw, alam mo yun, parang feeling mo daylight pa rin. Naloloko yung katawan mo into thinking na may araw pa pag masyadong maliwanag yung mga ilaw mo kahit gabi na, and hindi siya masyadong aantokin. Now, syempre, ibang usapan yung pagpagod na pagod ka, but it's very important to get the right amount of sleep and the right quality. So with quality, you can enhance the quality of your sleep by 1, keeping your room dark. You may want some blackout curtains there. 2, you want to keep your room cold. Important yan ngayon. Lalo na summer dito sa Pilipinas, ang init. Okay? So keep your room cool. And then you may want to add some essential oils like lavender to help induce sleep a lot better and make it a bit more of a pleasurable experience for you. You may want to use some eye shades so that it really blocks out the light. So those are some tips to get your sleep. Remember, sleep is not only for health, but you also burn more fat if you're sleeping the right amount of time. And let's not forget that being obese is a very, very big risk factor for this disease. Now, if you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, or consider subscribing at the very least. And give this video a like if you're enjoying it. That's all we ask. Smash the like button. Helps out this channel tremendously. And then finally, the last bit that you have to do is to take care of your mental health. Very important. Now, mental health is a very, very highly debated issue right now. It's very important because our circumstances currently, it's a very thriving breeding ground for anxiety, toxicity, and that kind of thing, given that you're bombarded with bad news, you hear about relatives or friends getting the disease, or some even succumbing to it, and that can take a toll on one's mental health. So it's very important to take care of your mental health. I forgot to mention earlier that getting proper sun exposure and getting proper adequate amounts of vitamin D3 do help a bit with your mental health. And it's also very important, in my opinion, to practice like a social media detox every now and then. Make sure you're not always on your social media, because it can get toxic, generally speaking. I'm not saying, social media is such a big part of our lives right now, but you may just want to limit yourself to a certain number of hours per day. Now, this is what my wife does. My wife does limit her There's I think it's a feature on iPhones that only limit, like for example, if you only want to do 1 hour of Facebook maximum in a day, your iPhone will let you do that. So intermittent social media fasting is also a thing. And then another thing is to practice gratitude. If you have a job, if you're still, if you're still making a little bit of money, Bitcoin, you should be thankful, you should be grateful, because a lot of people have been affected by the pandemic and their financial situation is not so great. So if you still have a job, if you're still making money, you still have a roof over your head, and you're still able to buy food, grab food or whatever, be thankful, be grateful for that. And then also limit your exposure to the news, because if you do get too much of the news, it can really be toxic, especially with the kind of news that we get here in the Philippines with the administration handling the pandemic and how it's handling it. So you may want to limit your news exposure. But I don't want to get political here, but anyways, just those 5: work out, eat nutritious, healthy, nutrient dense foods, get proper amount of sleep, get some sun, and finally, take care of your mental health. So titos and titas, I hope you like that video, and we will see you in the next one. Press.